What's going on, Reds? Welcome back to Liverpool Latest. My name is Matt. I appreciate you being here today. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like on it, comment down below with your thoughts, and leave a subscribe on the channel so you never miss a daily upload from us here on Liverpool Latest. Today has been a very slow news day. I have been relying on this FA Cup match to provide most of the content, and thankfully it did. That said, one big piece of news dropped before the match had occurred that I would like to touch on because obviously fans are clamoring for this, and that is the Xabi Alonso sacking at Real Madrid. Whether he was sacked, whether it was a mutual parting of ways, I've heard a little bit of everything at this rate online. Regardless, he is no longer the Real Madrid manager, which is a shame because apparently he was there for less than 8 months. So once again, the club is in some sort of turmoil. There's some sort of internal politics going on. And I don't watch La Liga, so I'm not really sure what has led to this moment with him in Madrid. But I know that there's been some friction with Vinicius Jr. and possibly Mbappe as well. So there's a whole list of things that could have gone wrong there. After all, Real Madrid's one of the biggest clubs in the world, so they're always going to be under that very, very big microscope. Here's a fun fact for you, though. When Klopp had left Liverpool, and that's exactly around the time that Alonso, Slot, and a few others were in the running for the next manager position. Naturally, as we know now, Arne Slot took that job. However, I was kind of in the wheelhouse of Xabi Alonso taking it because he was a former player of the club, had a lot of memories with the club, fans liked him a lot. So, and obviously he was doing really good with Leverkusen because look at the heights he took them in like a year or two, which is insane. So, especially after I think they were near relegation or something in the Bundesliga. But I wanted Xabi from the get-go. When I heard he was going to go to Madrid, I was very disappointed. And it is what it is. And unfortunately, he was gone for a little while. Now, because he's out of Madrid, fans are now clamoring for him to come back to Liverpool and hopefully be the next manager after Arne Slot, because everybody still expects Slot to not have a job at the end of the season. Well, as much as we are Slot out and the anti-Slot rhetoric is promoted on this channel at times, I'm going to give you a dose of reality. Slot has to lose his job first, ladies and gentlemen. He has to no longer have a job for us to get Alonso, which means in the time it takes for us to lose Slot, Alonso could go to another team. And that could be a very long time because clearly the club is backing the manager as best they can, and for reasons still unknown for many of us fans. That said, do I think he'll do a good job? I'm not sure. I think I'm not really familiar with his kind of coaching style. Obviously, what he did in Leverkusen will hold up for quite a while. So, but he can only run off that hype for so long. As long as it will last, he'll run off of it. But I think that failing at Madrid's going to be a little bit of a stain on him. But listen, would I love to have him at the club? Yes, I absolutely would. But Slot has to be out of a job first. And clearly that doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. We can only hope it's at the end of the season. And hopefully that he'll be available. I mean, could you imagine what Alonso could do for some of the players on our team? But that is all I have to say about that. I think it's just purely, everybody is so anti-Slot that they want him to be the manager right away what they don't realize is contracts are a thing, and no matter how much we dislike a manager or how much we are annoyed with a manager, the fact remains, as long as he still has a job, nothing's going to happen. So I appreciate the fantasy booking that I've been seeing online today, because it sounds amazing on paper, or on tweets in this case. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news for you, but somebody's got to burst the bubble. And that might as well be me, a rational Liverpool fan. Well, I'll tell you what isn't rational, or what is rational. This win, this W that we got over Barnsley today, and what was it? Actually, very, very entertaining match, if I say so myself. Lots of great chances from both sides. Granted, defensively was a little questionable with some of those chances Barnsley got. But the fact that we even put up more than 2 goals in a game is a shock in itself. I don't care what the opponent is. I said yesterday in the build-up to this match, anything can happen in football. And clearly, given some of our other Premier League brethren who have been knocked out in the FA Cup as of this weekend, I'm just glad it was not us and that we live to fight another day, and we actually go on to play Brighton at the next FA Cup match, whenever that may be. I will say, though, I watched the highlights. Like, I didn't watch the game. I couldn't watch the game. But I did see a lot of the highlights, a very extended highlight video on YouTube. And from what I saw, it was very entertaining football. I think that was probably, as far as offensively goes, the best the team has looked in quite some time. Chances were flying everywhere. The goalkeeper had to make saves. The strikers were trying to get into position. There was a little bit of creativity there, depending on who was on the field setting up a potential goal. So I can't be happier about this because, I mean, I am happy, but I can't be much happier than I am about it, because I know this weekend we're going to be playing back to Premier League football, and who the fuck knows what that's going to be like. So enjoy the gun show while it lasts, because we don't know what the fuck the result's going to be come this weekend in our next match in our Premier League journey. But what I do want to talk about, though, is Dominik Szoboszlai, because he had a very interesting game. I think every highlight I saw in some capacity he was involved with in some way, shape, and form, whether it was good, bad, or in this case, instead of ugly, mad. And I'll tell you why I say the mad part in a few minutes. But all in all, Dominik Szoboszlai was one of the better players on the pitch. I think that goes without saying. He had involvement in several goals, or at least setups to goals. He had a goal himself, which I'll get to. But where the bad comes in is that awful, awful brain fart he had right in front of Mamardashvili when he was trying to back kick to him to clear the ball out of the zone. Unfortunately, did not get much on it, and the Barnsley player put it right into the net with absolute ease. And a lot of people were flaming Szoboszlai on this, saying, like, what were you thinking? What the fuck are you doing? Like, you have to be an idiot, stuff like that. Meanwhile, he's been probably the best player on the pitch up until that point. So that was bad. That was a bad brain fart. Who knows what sort of mental block happened that allowed that goal to be allowed. But we'll never know. The only person that will know is Dominik Szoboszlai. That said, what could have been worse is when they attempted, or when Szoboszlai was defending one of the Barnsley players as he was making a press and knocked him over, could have caused a penalty in the process. Thankfully, VAR said, or somebody said, the ref on the field was like, hey, he got a foot on the ball. The contact wasn't all that big enough to cause a fall. This is a bit of an over-exaggeration. We're not going to give a penalty. And I guess VAR doubled down on that because clearly nothing happened. Do I think it was a penalty? I mean, when you look in real time, it looks like a penalty any day of the week. Let's be fair. I mean, if I'm a referee, I would have given that a penalty right away. That said, when you look at it in slow motion, you kind of see the nitty gritty of everything. It makes a little bit more sense that why it was not given a penalty. But the fact that it was even possible scared me a little bit. And I wasn't even watching the match live. I was watching highlights. I knew the result of the match already because I had looked it up beforehand in preparation to make this video. But I was still scared. So when highlights are scaring me, you know something's going on, man. My heart like sank when I saw that happen. But either way, the mad part was the first goal of the game, where Szoboszlai kicks this ball, and it's like I can't even describe it to you. It's just he kicked the ball and it landed in the net. It was almost reminiscent of that free kick he had against Arsenal earlier in the season and the kick that he attempted a few more times in the second match against Arsenal, except this time it was not a free kick, it was a regular play. And the ball just ends up in the net, and the man absolutely no-sells it. I mean, brother, you just had probably, in my opinion, the goal of the game. I think that goes without saying. You just had the goal of the game, probably one of the best goals of the year for yourself, and you're just out here like, okay. I mean, it was very impressive. Almost like the commentators in the highlights were like, oh my god, like they were almost delayed in the sense where it's like they were shocked it wound up in the net. But very impressive work from Dominik Szoboszlai. I believe he won man of the match for Liverpool from what I saw on their account, so good for him. Everybody did a pretty solid job. I don't really think anybody did a poor job outside of those little tidbits here and there of defense and Szoboszlai's hiccup. But all in all, this is the type of football I want to see. I wish we can play Barnsley every day because we would enjoy football a lot more. That was a very good match on all accounts. So what did scare us a little bit, though, and I want to touch on this, was Rio suffering a possible injury. Thank God that's not the case, because if he did, not only would I'd be really sad for the poor kid. I mean, he's 17 years old, for crying out loud, but he's it would have just added another name to the ever-growing list of injuries that we are having. And let's see. Let's read what we got here. So apparently, Rio suffered a cramp when he went down. Everybody thought it was a hamstring or a groin injury or something. Whatever it was, clearly wasn't as severe as we thought it would be in real time. So thankfully, there was no serious hamstring injury. He was subbed off for the cramp, but it seems like everything is okay. And I'm sure Slot had a press conference in some way, shape, or form after the match. I'll get those thoughts to you tomorrow, and we'll touch on it a little bit more if need be. But it seems like Rio is completely okay, which is good news for us. I like Rio a lot. He showed some great skill in today's game because he was also involved in quite a few of the highlights in the video I watched. So I like when the young guys play. I like it when they play, and I think it's great that we played as well as we did. That was probably, again, the best football we have ever played all season, or at least in the last several months. And it wasn't boring. It wasn't monotonous. People were trying to score goals. They weren't just fucking passing for the sake of passing. And it was great. Rio had a couple of great setups too. So I'm glad he's doing better. I hope he gets a few more, some more playing time after they figure out a little bit more what happened with his cramp. But good for him. I'm glad that he's safe and he's all right. And I'm glad that we don't have another name to the injury list. So thank you guys so much for watching Liverpool Latest today. I appreciate you being here. Leave your thoughts down in the comments section. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. And if you want to watch more, please, I highly encourage you to subscribe so you never miss a daily upload from the boys in red. I'll see you guys on the next one. You'll never walk alone.